What's up, everybody? Welcome to my garage. That's right. This is Josh Griffin here from Download Youth Ministry. I am broadcasting from my supply. I'm in a bunker. No, it's not a bunker. It's just my garage here in Southern California. I'm so excited about our panelists today for our Sidekick workshop. My neighbors, let's go wave at them right now. This is awkward. My garage door is open. And so how you doing, folks? They're just out for a walk right now. And we are so excited to share with you some insights, strategies, tips into using the Sidekick.tv app from Download Youth Ministry. Now, here's the thing. Doug Fields and I co-founded Download Youth Ministry, and we also are youth workers, and we use this stuff every week. So the whole idea of Download Youth Ministry is that it was formed to help, put our resources out on the internet for people to share and use. And it has exploded to where now hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of youth workers doing some of the most creative stuff on the planet have created their resources, make those available at incredibly low cost to you. And Download Youth Ministry has developed a tool called Sidekick, which is an unbelievable presentation app that will help you take your online streams, your in-person streams, however you're doing youth group right now, to the next level. Now, before we go any further, I can tell that you're interested in this fresh cut that I got. How did Josh get such a fresh cut last night in the middle of quarantine? Here's how. In our online stream last night for youth group, Doug Fields, who's the youth pastor at our church, I work on the junior high team, he cut my hair with a 6-foot quarantine pole with clippers duct taped to the end. And so I say not bad. Not bad. Maybe if the whole youth ministry thing doesn't work out, Doug could get into like a salon or something. Anyhow, getting off track. Here's the deal. We want to help you, and we have put together the not only the two people that helped build and create the Sidekick app, but also some youth workers in the trenches of youth ministry that are killing it. Like, they are total pro grade youth workers. Doug and I use Sidekick, and we use their stuff every single week. And so we're excited to share tips, tricks, ideas, hacks, basic training, all of it from the people that are the very best in youth ministry using this tool. And like I said, last night at our church, we used the Sidekick app to give away a pair of budget knockoff AirPods, not from Apple, those are too expensive, but they're from the dollar store, but they look like AirPods. And so we were the heroes. Anyhow, we use the PickMe app. There's just so many ways that you can use this tool. Let me introduce you to a couple of people from the Download Youth Ministry team. Steve Stone is one of our panelists today. He's not just a panelist, he is the guy. Steve Stone helped create Sidekick. And when I say help, he helped me. No, Steve basically did this whole bad boy by himself. He's an amazing programmer and a youth worker, and has made Sidekick something extraordinary. Sidekick is also beautiful, and Dave Harris is in our chat as well, and he is one of our panelists today, and he's the guy who makes everything on Download Youth Ministry look unbelievable. And then we have, and I'll let them share a little bit at first and introduce our panelists who will show you how to use this thing and crush it in person or on your online streams. Dave and Steve, how are you guys doing? Welcome to this incredible Sidekick moment right here.
Hey, thanks, Josh. Looking good. I'm liking the haircut.
Thank you. Fresh cut. High and tight. A little higher and a little tighter than I'm used to, but it is what it is.
Hey, it is what it is.
How's quarantine going for you? Things going good in Kentucky?
Things are going good in Kentucky. Me and the cat. You can't
good.
see her, but we're just chilling right here. So
good. Let's keep it that way. Steve, how are you, dude? Sidekick. I just sometimes shout your name into the air. Steve. How are you, dude?
Things are going good. It's quiet here in Kentucky, but things are going good. It's fun.
Excellent. Well, I'll let you guys take it from here. I just wanted to say thank you and introduce you. And also, I use Sidekick every week. And so well done. I can't wait to learn from the pros. I'm here for it.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Awesome.
So to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to talk about, just so you know, if you're new to Sidekick, are you guys still seeing Josh? I like Josh, but I don't know how to.
Nope.
Okay, that was
you
me.
Don't want to see Josh.
So anyway,
Yeah.
As far as what we're going to be talking about, if you are new to Sidekick, we last week did a basics beginner course that is available on sidekick.tv/learn. So if you're brand new to Sidekick and you want to get more information, head there, watch the YouTube video that's on there. That way, Steve goes through this amazing tutorial, teach you everything you need to know. As far as today, this is going to be a little more, I guess, intermediate or advanced features of Sidekick, but hopefully you can stick around and give you a good idea of what you can do with the app, and it's going to be really awesome. These guys are amazing at what they do, and we're so grateful and thankful that they're going to share their ideas with you over the next hour or so. So they're each going to talk through their stuff, and then at the end we'll have plenty of time for question and answer. So, all right, Steve, you have anything to add?
I was going to say what we could do is talk real briefly about what Sidekick is. For those of you that don't know, Sidekick was made by youth pastors to do the things that we wanted to do in our youth ministry that we couldn't do with any other applications. It works on the Mac and PC. It doesn't work on iPhones or Chromebooks because there's some limitations with the hardware itself. It is primarily used for your second screen, but we're all in this together, and ironically, it works really, really well with Zoom. So it is a great tool to do your presentations with Zoom. We're going to be talking just a brief terminology here. Sidekick uses what we call builders, which are like apps within Sidekick. And these things allow you to do superpowers like spinning wheels, or survey says like a Family Feud builder, a countdown. Those things we call builders. You may hear that term pop up and just kind of think in your mind that's an app within the app kind of thing. And for those of you that don't know, Sidekick is free to download and try. Go to sidekick.tv. You can download it. It does require a login from DYM to log in and use the app. A gold membership or a Sidekick only membership will unlock the watermark and allow you to actually use the app. And yeah, it's free to try out and free to install on as many computers as you want. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so let's go ahead. Enough of us. We'll get started and go through some amazing ideas. So to kick us off, we have our good friend, Matt Baker. Matt, why don't you just give us a 10-second, like, here's who I am, and then tell us about the great things you can do with Sidekick.
Yeah. So I'm coming to you from Edmonton, Alberta, and I'm at Hope City Church. I'm from Ontario, but moved out here about 3 years ago now, and I'm the next. We're a multi-site church, so I'm the new campus pastor. We're launching, Lord willing, in the fall. So I've been out of youth ministry for a while, but not really, because I'm helping our junior high pastor right now in his first year, and so I do all the games, I do all that fun hype stuff for them when we're live. So this has just been a different thing. So I'm just making games, helping youth workers that need to use online platforms right now, and it's been great. So for me, coming in as a youth pastor, I came from a smaller church, and it was just I didn't have a whole lot of tools to make things actually look good. So when Sidekick came out, it was like, wow, this thing is wicked. It makes anything, your program, look like $1 million. You got these generators, you got these things spinning, and I know my students really gravitated it. So when I brought it in to the new church, to the big church, and we have about 120, 130 junior highs on a weekly basis. We do screen games, we do upfront games, we do all those things, and they're great. But when I brought in Sidekick, and it was like the wheel spun and the generator went, these kids they just ate it up, and really, really, really awesome. So what I've done in just this time of quarantine and everything going on, when everyone was scrambling, when all the youth workers were scrambling, oh, we have to go to Zoom. Well, I didn't have to do that because I don't run a youth ministry. So I was able to, hey, what can I do to make games to help youth workers? So I actually made a game that kind of blew up, and I really didn't expect it to. I actually thought it was a stupid idea, to be honest, but it really, really worked. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm not the greatest at this. So we're going to go ahead and bring this up for you and see what happens here. You should be able to see on the right, it says Home Hunt, and then on the left is the builder. It's the controls. So this is one of the builders in Sidekick. One of my favorite, it's the wheel. It's the spinning wheel. And when I saw that there was a wheel in Sidekick, man, I just thought Price is Right, like all those fun things. And so basically this game has it's been awesome. My So my son is 12, and he had his junior high Zoom call 2 nights ago, and they played this, so I could just hear him whipping around the house. So it's a scavenger hunt, and they use a wheel for it. So I'm just going to show you. You can see on my screen. Here's my mouse. So right now I have the graphic up here. These are the controls. So if you are new to Sidekick, it's very, very simple. You simply click a button. So all we do here is I'm going to turn off the graphic. I've already got the instructions up here. It says be the first one to find the item and bring it back. So we're going to go ahead and turn those off. And now we're going to spin the wheel. So I've already got all these added things that I've put in here. So a toilet seat, I think that'd be a little difficult, but toilet seat, fridge magnet, all these things you can see. We're going to spin it there. So what would happen now is all the students that are playing this game would now run to their kitchen and make a PB&J sandwich and bring it back to where where their device is. You can also control right here, as you can see, you can control just the length of the spin. If you want it to go a little longer, then you clear it and you just keep playing it. What the other thing is down here, hide last item. I was able to click that, so what that means is that item won't come up again. I'll spin it one more time just so you can see. Very engaging, and just something about so 6 eggs it comes up, and so I'll go ahead and stop that. But just a little idea of that game. So what I call these type of games are games that come to life. And you can have that screen game where it's that one graphic, and that's okay, and those are great. And I make those, and a lot of the DYM authors make those, and a lot of youth groups play those. But there's just something about the sounds, the clicks, the things moving on the screen that for our group and for me just really appeal to them. And there's all kinds of options. I know a lot of the panels here are going to show different builders and different things they've used, and these guys are putting out killer things. So if you want to do something for youth ministry that just looks like $1 million and really is going to bring engagement and appeal, these builders are wicked. So that's just a little glimpse of the Wheel of Destiny builder. Home Hunt, if you don't have it, hey, it's on the store. But just letting you know it's there, and hey, love to be a part of it, and would love to answer any of your questions later on.
Awesome. And like when we were talking earlier this week, probably, and you said this a minute ago, but like one of my favorite things that you said was that it just brings games to life. It brings things to life. And I thought, oh man, that's the perfect description, because it does. It just adds this interactivity that is hard to get from anything else. So, all right. Thank you, Matt. Todd, you're up next.
Hey, everybody. So good to be here. I'm from outside of Philadelphia, a small town. And I be the first to admit and confess I was not the biggest Sidekick user on a weekly basis. We would use it all the time on summer camp and our winter retreats, but week in and week out, I just found it a little harder. We were understaffed tech-wise for our ministry, and so it was a little bit harder for me to do it. But having a couple of the tools, and again, not being an expert at all, when all of this happened, and I think it was Anthony was one of the first videos that went up about how to use Sidekick and Zoom. I just dove in, and I was like, I have to figure this out. And one of the things that Matt has already said about it in the controls is that it is really user-friendly. It's really easy to play. It's really easy to figure it out. And so if you're kind of not been don't consider yourself an expert, I would just encourage you to jump in there and play real quick. And I just wanted to, I'm going to pick on Matt a little bit and share my screen. We had, so Matt has a game called Quick on the Draw. And this is his game right here. And for Easter, as we were preparing and getting things ready, I was looking for a game, and we were doing the Zoom. And I just thought, well, I think I might be able to take his idea and his game and just basically steal it. And so, Matt, I hope you feel better. I did buy one, but this one is, I just went in and I'll just show you. I just put in random Easter things, and then we played that game with the same rules, the same way you would normally play it. And it was so much fun. And that's one of the things that I have come to just absolutely love about Sidekick is there are so many great games in the DYM store, and the people that are on this call, I got to be honest, I'm blown away by their creativity.
and I love hanging with them and getting ideas from them. But the reality is with the Sidekick, I can take what they've started and I can edit it and then just make our own game that fits our group, do different theme nights, do different activities or whatever, just on the games that are already there. So I just want to encourage you, get in there, play with it, make your own, get some fun things, and then take what is in the store to the next level and make it perfect for your group.
So basically you're saying that your creative contribution to this panel is to steal other people's ideas, right? I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly.
Yeah, I feel like that might be the exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Perfect. That's but you know, that's
okay. All right. Good. Yeah.
It's such a great example of how youth ministry is. Like, we're all here for each other. We're all in this together. We're trying to figure this out. And there's no idea that's, you know, brand new under the sun, so to speak. So it's awesome to be able to have a resource like DYM that you can pick up somebody else's idea who's actually on this call with you and, you know, just plagiarize it and make it work for your youth ministry. And I think that's a perfect example. So, all right. Thanks, Todd. And again, later on, we'll have questions for all these guys as well. But next up is Mr. Anthony Taylor himself.
Hey, Todd, that was great. Actually, I didn't even buy Matt's game. I asked Todd to export a copy for me, and then I just typed in his parameters. That was really good. I'm just kidding. This is good. Yeah, I'll share my screen with you. I want to show you just a few things. The playlist feature right here is wonderful. So when you're on a Zoom call, I find it very helpful to load up all of the things that you're going to do in the playlist feature just by clicking that little the little star button. So in your library anywhere, you can just put a star button on there, and then boom, it lands in there. And then you can move these around. And so I wanted to show just a game that I used, that I made, that was helpful to use a whole bunch of builders. So we've used the Picker app, the Timer app, the spinner wheel, and then the scoreboard to kind of actually make a whole event. So to think more broadly in your creativity, to say, hey, not only can I make a game, which is a game is great, not only can I download a game and play a game, which is great, why don't I keep score to that game and just use the same background in a scoreboard? Or instead of just playing that game, why don't I play that game, but to pick the people to play the game, I'll add another builder in the Sidekick app. So the Sidekick app, I think, has like 10 builders in it, wheels and pickers and boxes and trivia and pixelate, all those things. But to give your mind a little idea to create a whole bunch of these. So let me share my screen so you see what the actual game looks like. And oh man, plug in quick on the draw again. What happened? This is good. So what I did is I am not a good graphic arts guy. Most of these guys in this panel are really good at graphic arts. I'm not. So I go to canva.com. Have you heard of it? And I go to presentation or into a desktop background, which is 19 by 1080 or whatever it is. I just made this probably about 6 minutes. And then I just made sure that inside there, the numbers fit inside the box. So it looks really nice. And so I would say, okay, the number one person on my participants, you're going first on team 1. And then all I'm doing is switching over to my playlist feature. And now I'm on team 2. Did you see where it popped up, team 2? And now I spin. I've labeled all of the boys 1 through 20. And all of the girls are 30 through, you know, whatever. And then, so now I've got girl number 22 versus boy number 2, and we're going to play a talent show, but we don't have to have talents. So I'm going to spin a wheel, and here is the talent that I want the kids to do. So boy number 1 versus girl 22. Oh, Matt, I put on it really long spin because you notice that was 15 seconds of spin. All right, this is stupid human trick. They have a few seconds to think about what is the stupid human trick they're going to do. In fact, I like to give them a timer and say, you're going to have 30 seconds, and then I'm going to come to you, and you're going to do your stupid human trick. So think about it. What do you got? 30 seconds. And then as soon as that 30 seconds is up, they do their stupid human trick. And then I go ahead and give scores. And so all I've done is taken the background that I created once and I put it on all of these. And now it feels like all of the builders have a whole bunch of different ways to use this one game. So one game now becomes 5 different builders in a playlist that moves really smoothly. And so that's one way to think creative about it from top to bottom.
They look seamless. Like it looks like you're going, like you're not even leaving the same game, but your trick is that you've just created similar backgrounds for several different builders.
Totally.
I love that.
Yeah, and if you just save your background on your desktop and then just upload it to everyone. Let me show you that real quick just so you can see what an upload of background looks like. Whenever you pick one of these games and you go to edit it, the background is right there. So you can click on edit in seconds and add up any kind of background. You take a screenshot of something. This was a kid that was on last night. He is now my background in seconds to what it looks like for them to spin. So just to think creatively and even quickly, Sidekick helps you do all of that really fast.
Awesome. And you can actually, like, another kind of hack, if you're in a church with like a video switcher or something, you could put in like a green screen in the background and put a wheel over top of a live video or whatever, if you know how to key and all that stuff. So
yeah, I was just gonna say, I do that too, Dave, to actually in the background put actually a green background for your background, and then when you can do a screen share and steal it in QuickTime and just record it, and now you have a green background with the wheel. You can put that over any of your videos. So all of our videos right now on our live stream have a wheel right next to my shoulder. It's like sitting right here, and it spins because I use the green background in iMovie. I'm not great, but using iMovie, you can do real quick stuff like that.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Next on the list is Derry. Derry, are you in here somewhere? Thought I saw you earlier.
I'm here.
All right.
Yes.
What do you got for us?
I am here and excited to be here. I am also in Kentucky with Dave and Steve. I'm actually just like 100 yards from Dave right now, I think. And
That's right.
We never get to see each other because our governor doesn't let us leave our homes. So, but it is awesome to be with you. I am the student ministry leader at Southeast Christian Church, Blankenbaker campus in Louisville. Have got a lot of different stuff on DYM. Need a haircut desperately. Josh, I would love those clippers at some point. But what I want to talk to you about are just 2 aspects to what Sidekick has been for me. One is the fact that you might look at some of these builders and get limited and think there's only one way to use them. And one thing early on that just struck me, I'll share my screen here, is that the PickMe app is incredibly diverse. You think, oh, enter names. And you could do that. But early on, I found a few different ways. And if you have been one to play the game 1st to 10, for example, that was what I made. Cha-ching, thank you to all you who have purchased that. I appreciate it. But what this is rather than typing in names, what you can do is you can type in qualifiers is what I call them. And you can do this in so many different ways. But the 1st to 10 app was a way where simply you put up something, and if you've been to the beach this year, you put up a finger and choose which finger wisely, especially if it's your first one. But the first to get to 10 is the winner. So like that was one example. But then other pick me type games, then I started thinking about was what about a game like where we just simply are trying to figure out, like, match people up. Now, you can't do this one if you're on Zoom, but some of you are able to start to get together and find someone who is simply a game where you can then find someone that you start saying a color, find someone who's saying the same color, and then you can go and match up. So you again find some different things. There's another game called the Questionator, where simply, discussion questions. Sometimes it's tricky to figure out how to dole out your discussion questions. Well, the Questionator has 50 different discussion questions. And rather than you deciding, you let PickMe decide what the next discussion question is, which is a great thing on Zoom when you're just hanging out, like, hey, here's our next discussion question. it's up. And in the chat, who wants to answer that? I'll unmute you and you can go. So that's one thing I just want to say is throw out the idea. You can really do a lot with these builders if you think outside of just the obvious way. That's what I've loved about it, is trying to get creative inside of them. The other thing I'll just share, especially since we're living in this world of trying to figure out how to do things online, is as Matt said, it's just so easy. It's dynamic. It's fun. It does work great with Zoom, but also this is just more of a general youth ministry thing. I think low tech is okay sometimes. And I'm at a church that values a lot of high tech, but we said, we just need to get on Instagram Live. And we created something that we call Not Quite Late Night. And what we did with Not Quite Late Night was simply, I went on Instagram Live, and here's how I set it up. This is, if you see up here, I just put my iPhone on a little tripod and zoom and put it on the screen. And what would happen is I would go live and bring on a guest. That's my son. He wasn't a guest on it, but isn't he cute? And we would then talk for a little bit. And then if you see that little circle right up there, you just hit that. It flipped the camera around so that then I could shoot what was on the screen. We played 12 and 12 together as one of the games. And then he would then, try to pick and remember. And so we would do this over IG Live. What you're looking at here is a build out of all the different games we played. So I started with a graphic that simply was Not Quite Late Night. I actually did a countdown as well. A YouTube video of the final countdown by, I can't remember the band, but that played so that people could get onto Instagram while we were live. And then we just kicked in and started playing the games. And if you haven't done the Instagram Live thing, it's real simple. People just request to join. I picked some people ahead of time, so I didn't get any crazy person getting on and doing weird things. But we also would say, if anybody wants to jump in and play, and then we would screen to make sure it's students that we knew and, not somebody creepy like Todd Pearage that's just something. So anyway, I think I just share that to say that's a way you could do this. A couple of the games we played, 12 and 12, where back as many as they could remember. And I said, if you can say 9, we'll send you a video message. If you can say 10, we'll drop some candy off at your house. If you can do all 12, we'll go ahead and we'll deliver food to your house. And then what we did when we said that was we actually did a picker where we could deliver some food over to their house, and we used the Boxes app to do that. So we used the DoorDash picker and we spun it, and then Panera Bread. That's what they got. And if you don't know, the beauty is you can put over here we had but kids thought we might actually deliver that to them. So that's just 2 things. So the dynamic use of this, as well as maybe a low rent, a low tech way to engage with Sidekick.
That's awesome. I love the idea of doing low tech. We can probably come up with some more ideas later in the questions, but it's great. Thank you, Derry. All right, next up is Isaac.
Hey, I am Isaac. I'm from Ohio, and it is cold. Probably not as cold as Canada, but shout out to you, Matt Baker. Hey, Sidekick, I'm also going to agree with Todd. I didn't use Sidekick a ton before online ministry, but Sidekick has been the best platform for me to use when it comes to online ministry because of the screen sharing. We use Zoom on Wednesday nights, and it's really good to just capture that screen and share it. So I want to show you a few things, not high tech again. And I love graphic design, but I'm trying to talk to the people that hate graphic design and say, how can I do Sidekick, but still make it look good and not have a graphic design background? So first, it's literally, I screen recorded my phone to show you that it was 1.5 minutes. I went on to WordSwag. I'm going to fast forward. You pick the background, you say youth group begins in this time, boom, make sure that you have enough room for the countdown to get in there, and then you export it. I actually added, to make it personal, I added our logo, It's down in there. Again, this is pretty much a free app. You can pay, I think, $6 to upgrade it. And then I send it into, I just send it to my downloads. So this is what I'm going to show you now on my desktop. I'm just going to create it for you. Here is how to create a countdown timer. So I'm just going to call it countdown, bring it in. I just created this. Literally took me a minute and a half. I'm going to edit my background, bring it in right here in my downloads. Youth group begins in, and then I need to add an item. I want it to be 5 minutes long. I love doing the countdown. I set it up for 20 minutes prior to us kicking off. I just know that our youth group, it starts at 6 o'clock. So I make the countdown end at 6:03. So sometimes it's like 23 minutes long, but it's already going. And the screen is already shared for when students get on there. So if
I can share your screen right now too.
Can you share your screen? Yeah.
Oh, it never shared.
It's all right. We still love you.
We saw the
There we
video,
go.
the WordSwag video.
Is this on?
So we saw that. Yep, we got
Okay.
you.
Everything is caring.
So here's what you missed is here in the downloads. I just did the WordSwag. It's in there. 5 minutes. Change this to 5. I'll change this to down here because I want it to be a little bit lower so that it's not over the text. I think that this is probably going to look great. You can play around with it. And then there we go. Youth group begins in 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And that was in about 5 minutes time. You spend 10 minutes on it. You can make it look real nice. You can personalize it. This is what ours looks like for a Wednesday night. We have our midweek. Our midweek begins in, and I say I'm going to do 10 seconds because I'm actually going to transition into how we use transitions for a Wednesday night just to make things a little bit smoother. So we hit play. They see that it's getting ready to go down to 0. And then I found a really cool transition video thing on DYM. Hey everyone, so glad you're here at Youth Group. This is awesome. I didn't even make that video. Someone made that video for us. They put it on DYM. I downloaded it. But it's really nice when all these junior high students and high school students are all talking to bring them back in. I love using Sidekick in the playlist just for the transitions. So right before we start teaching, click on our bumper video. Again, it brings that noise level down. You can mute everyone, and then you could just seamlessly go instead of going, okay, what do we have now? Where are we going? Are we going from here to here? You can use this to go from one event to the next.
That's awesome. I don't know who made that transitional video, but it's terrible. It's terrible.
Here, I'm gonna share
I made it. So anyway,
you made it?
Do what?
Did you make that?
I did make that, but
oh, hey.
That's why it's so terrible. Anyway, so next up, thank you, Isaac. I love the transitioning from thing to thing. I think that's a huge thing. That's this constant battle, especially when we're in live situations where we're trying to figure out how do you seamlessly go from point A to point B. So that's great. All right. Next up is Matthew McNutt. Where are you, buddy?
Hey, Matthew McNutt. I am a youth pastor in Delaware. My wife and I, we have 4 kids out here. It's really fun being in a state nobody's heard of. I've been a youth pastor for 19 years, and I honestly really started using Sidekick over the last half year at the fall NYWC, National Youth Workers Convention. Steve and Dave, and then I think Anthony was there too, did a session on Sidekick and how to use it. And so a couple of my leaders and I went to it because I felt like it was a missed opportunity. I've had it for a couple years through the gold membership, but never really used it because I hate switching between presentation softwares during my youth group functions, and I really just thought of Sidekick as a games only thing. I hadn't really looked into it too much, and it kind of blew my mind when Steve and Dave were sharing about the ways you can use it for other things. That one of the builders is the presenter builder, and it allows you, you can use it to have your slides for your lesson, for your worship, for all the different things, using the playlist to have it simplified in one spot. And so that really kind of blew my mind. And I went home. I have an app for I use PC, but I have the Duet Display app for Apple products. And what it allows me to do is use my iPad as a second monitor for my laptop. And so I just kind of went home and popped up the second monitor, since I didn't want to hook up a video projector, and just spent a lot of time playing with Sidekick using the Duet Display to try and practice, to feel good about it. I could practice in my office that way. I could practice at home without, you know, the bigger equipment. And I really found I love it. And so I'm kind of in here as more of, I use it for my teaching. And so let me see if I can share my screen. That's very exciting. And so what happens is, as you've kind of already seen, a lot of people, whatever you are most comfortable using is probably one of your better tools to be using to create things. And so this is a lesson that I had written on worry. And I like to create my slides in PowerPoint. And it's as easy as this. In PowerPoint, you can create it the way you want to do it, set it all up, and then just save it as a JPEG. If you scroll down here, and then you click all slides, and what it'll do is now it's created, there we go, it only took a couple seconds. It's created a folder called presentation with all of the slides as a JPEG. And so then in Sidekick, what I can do, oh my goodness, I thought I had it loaded up and ready to go, and now you're seeing how long it takes to boot it and log.
Yeah, but look how fast it is, Matthew. I'm just saying.
I know. This is amazing. So there we are. We're in Sidekick. You can see in the library. So here's how easy it is to import my presentation here. I'll go to create, and I use the presenter builder. And then, so I'll name the file Restless Worry, and hit create now down here on the bottom. And then what it'll do, I prefer to just use the bulk add button, even if I'm just doing one slide, because it allows me to just drag and drop. So I drag it over here. It takes a couple seconds to transfer. And once it finishes doing that, I'm going to select the first slide to be my title graphic, so it's easy to identify in the Sidekick library section. And so you can see it just takes a couple seconds to import all the images, where I keep repeating myself talking about importing the images. Anthony's much more natural at creating banter during these things. So I selected that to be my main title slide. So now you can see that it's become the title graphic up here. It automatically puts them in order. PowerPoint had labeled them in order of what slide they were. If I want to, I can slide them around and switch the order. If I don't want to use this illustration after all, I can delete the slide. And now when I go back to my library, you can see it's right under the presenter tab. It's right here. And so if I'm putting together my youth group night, there'll be a few elements I want in here. Here's my general slide for a logo for what's going on. So I'll add that to the playlist by clicking the star. I'll click, I'm going to do my Who is My Neighbor lesson. And so I'll star that. Here's a worship song that we're going to sing. And then right now, my favorite game is the 1st to 10 quarantine edition. I love it because you can play it on Instagram and YouTube Live and whatever. And just instead of having kids raise a hand, just have them put the number in the chat. So now This is overwhelming to me, all these things on the screen, but in the playlist, now it's simplified down to this is just what I'm going to use for this student hour, right? And I can switch around the order to what I want to do it. I'm probably going to, open with our title slide, then I want to play the game, maybe sing a song, do the lesson. And where did my presentation screen? There it is. And so then I can just kind of switch between them. It shows up on the screen. This is a couple bits that we do in our student ministry. One of my leaders, Elijah, is super opinionated, so he'll drop truth bombs. Another leader is Melissa. She tells sassy stories because she's super sweet all the time unless she gets overtired, and then it's amazing. But, so I can switch between those images on the screen. We can then switch to the game. Click back up here. We're going to do the song, and then we can switch through as we're singing the worship song. And then finally getting to the lesson, just hit play on that and boom, here we are with the slides to the lesson. So for me, that was a game changer, being able to import other things easily, being able to put them on the playlist so that I can, from my laptop, very easily see what I'm going to do next and have it there and not get confused. It's easy for a volunteer to jump in and do some of it for me. I love having everything in one spot, and I love that I can create the content on the apps or programs that I'm most familiar with and just export it into a format that I can use in Sidekick. So let me see if yeah. So that was, I think for me, the big contribution is using it as my teaching aid there too. Where do I find, there it is.
Thanks, Matthew. I have a couple things. First off, using it beyond games, I think that's genius. It's meant for so much more. In fact, it's a full presentation tool. However, with that said, A, I'll forgive you for using a PC, but B,
90% of America, but whatever.
B, to be completely transparent, DYM, we're a youth ministry company, and we have this one amazing dude, and his name is Steve, and Steve makes Sidekick. So when it comes to building a tool to compete with, say, Keynote or PowerPoint, it's a little hard for Steve to do that, to take on Apple or Microsoft. So to have the resources of using PowerPoint or Keynote or something like that, it's this amazing tool to create and build all this stuff, but then having the simplicity of Sidekick to play it back, I think it's just genius.
Right, because there's no way that I can do some of the games that we can get through Sidekick on any of those other softwares. So that's where I love that Sidekick, I'm able to create things where it's easiest to create it, but use this software to keep it all consolidated.
Right. And Steve, I think you're doing a great job competing with Microsoft and Apple, just to throw that out there.
Thank you.
Anyway, next up, and last but not least, Mr. Ken Leslie, where are you, buddy?
Excellent. Let's see here. There, now you guys can hear me and see me. So so just like everybody else, I just want to show you one of the things. It's taken me kind of a long time to adapt Sidekick, and I think that's one of the things we've heard. And so if you're just watching this and you're thinking, I'm just not going to make the leap, as soon as you start using it, you'll start using it more and more and more. And but for some of the older stuff, maybe the older games, especially on the Download Youth Ministry website, there's not a Sidekick file that exists, but almost everything can still be played through Sidekick. And so just like you've seen some of the other people sharing their screen, I'm going to do the same thing. Let's see if it'll all work for me, just as fancy as it did for you guys. Can you can just see a blank screen, I'm thinking right now?
Yeah, just your desktop.
And that's not the desktop that I wanted to show you. So so let me see if I can stop that share and share a different desktop with you. And if that's not working, it's going to make this a little bit more difficult, but that's okay. Let's see here if I can swap this my Zoom meeting back over to this desktop. I'm just doing some things in the background. Let's try this and share this desktop, and if it works. There we go. Now you can see some of my screen. So one of the key wins that I've been hearing a lot and seeing a lot in the chat going through is this presenter app. Probably, maybe you guys didn't even know, how that existed. It took me a while to start using Sidekick because I thought it was just to insert a game into my entire presentation of the night. But just like Matthew just showed us, that you can streamline, have your entire night from your opening slides, your worship music, your teaching slides, and then your games, all of that stuff in this presenter app. And just a little bit of review, just to remind people, you just put this little star right there, and that will put it in this playlist. And so actually, when I said presenter, I'm talking about, these are like your simple presentations. They're not games like Boxes or Emoji Hunt or these other builders. The word we're using for each of these individual things is builders here. But I just put a little star there, and it appears in this playlist. So I just wanted to show you a game that I made, that's kind of maybe relevant right now, is this Will It Burn, a graduation edition. It doesn't exist in Sidekick. If you download it, there's no Sidekick file. Maybe I can change that, but you can still go get old games, create games in PowerPoint. Just make a simple PowerPoint trivia game if you want. I found that those are working really well still on online ministry. But here, if you just want to import a game, just like Matthew imported his slides to presenter, I'm going to import an old game. I'm going to do this. And when I say old, this graduation edition, just as a heads up, it's not dated. And so it works every year. And so even though it might sound like it's old, it's not. I'm just going to call it Will It Burn. And I'm not worried about making too much details here. It's going to give me this blank issue here. And really, I'm just going to do this bulk add, because in this folder here, I've got all these videos. Now, the other thing that's neat to know is that these are all videos, not just slides, not just individual like PowerPoint slides. They're all made out of videos. And so we'll just see how it imports, maybe a little faster than Matthew's PC computer here, because this is an Apple product. And so it works a little fast. No, it's just on my end, maybe. And then I'm also going to back out of here because I do have a title slide that I want to add to this. And I'm just going to say add, let that fill in all these deals here. I'm going to change my title slide. I'm just going to do a little plus sign here and find where I had this. It's in my desktop. I wasn't complete. Let's see, grad edition. We'll open that, and we'll just go with option A, sure, and choose that. So now I have a title slide once it loads in my super fast computer here, right? And so now I have a title slide. If I go play on this, I'm going to show the title graphic. This is Will It Burn Graduation Edition. Again, everybody is just seeing this slide here, but these are the old, graduation. Will it burn? Woo! I don't know if that's as loud as it is for you, but it's loud in my headphones. Or if you even see that video, I gotta. And we'll just burn this table decorations and see if it burns. And that's my, so yeah. So this is just a way that you can bring in some older games that don't already have a Sidekick file. Or even just create your own games. If you are super comfortable, I think that's one of the things that we've seen people talking about. If you're super comfortable making PowerPoint just slides, but you don't want to switch between PowerPoint and then Sidekick and back and forth, you can import everything into Sidekick. Let me just back out of here again and show you how it was done in this presenter. Now this Will It Burn Graduation Edition, I star it, I go to playlist, and now I have in my playlist, I can go and I got, this, my opening slide, and then I can switch over to play Will It Burn. All right, let me go back to that just to kill that. So just to recap, the powerful there is bringing everything into this playlist and you can bring in old stuff too. Hopefully that helps you guys out.
Sweet. So like anything that I've purchased from the DYM store that has JPEG slides or whatever, I can easily just, and even videos, like
I was gonna say, not just JPEGs. Yeah, it takes videos, and any video-driven game can still, yeah,
like a lot of your resources, like the Will It Burn, so fun, but adding that video element in, I think it's great.
right.
So,
absolutely.
awesome. Well, hopefully this kind of gives you some different ideas of how you can use Sidekick creatively in your ministry. So let's go ahead and open things up a little bit with some Q&A. So we can, I think you guys are posting some in the chat deal there.
If you don't know, down at the bottom of your screen, you should have a Q&A button, and there you can ask questions that we can answer in here.
Laura says, I use ProPresenter for my lessons. Is there a way to import games into ProPresenter, or do I need to use Presenter Builder instead? Steve, you want to tackle that one?
Let me see if I understand the question, Laura. I think what you're saying is, can you export out of ProPresenter and into Presenter?
I think saying, can I use Sidekick inside ProPresenter?
Gotcha. In that case, no. Sidekick is its own app with its own output, but you can export slides from ProPresenter and drop them into Presenter inside Sidekick, just like that. So they don't really work nested into each other, and that's just because they're two separate apps. ProPresenter has its own control over its app, and they don't let us inside them at all.
Sweet. And actually, ProPresenter has a output button. You want to explain the?
Yeah. So Sidekick, well, every app, Sidekick, PowerPoint, ProPresenter, Keynote, what they do on your second screen, it's actually kind of just a trick. They just put a window on your second screen, full screen. And so what you can't see is most of the time they're layered. And so with Sidekick, usually we're the second most top layer, and then ProPresenter is usually the first most top layer. And ProPresenter has an output button, and if you click that, it will hide that window, and you will see Sidekick. And if you click that output button again, it should pop back on. Sidekick has the same feature if Sidekick happens to be on top of whatever your other app is, and it's just switching it from live to preview mode. Will toggle whatever's in front of each other. And so most apps can do that. Yeah.
Great. Another question is, are there any tutorials available, the DYM, of what's been talked about? Yes. If you go to sidekick.tv/learn, or just sidekick.tv and click on the learn button at the top, you'll see all kinds of tutorial videos there, as well as a full demo walkthrough that's on YouTube. The video, if you watch it on YouTube, in the description, it actually breaks down in chapters all the things that are talked about, so you can just click on the chapter and watch just that one thing. Let's see, Lisa says, can you import YouTube videos into Presenter inside Sidekick?
Anthony, do you have a hack for that?
Yeah, it's probably just anybody downloads a YouTube video, a YouTube downloader, and then just save it as a file, and then bulk add it like McNutt was talking about. You just drop it in there in the bulk, and it'll be in your Presenter ready to go. If you're just doing YouTube videos, you do that. One of the other questions in there was the green screen idea. That's kind of the same thing. If anything that you want to download or screen capture with QuickTime, or I don't know what PCs do it. I'm a follower of Jesus, so I don't have a PC. And so I just use QuickTime, and then I just take any of those videos and you drop it right into the bulk ad of Presenter, and you can show them in seconds.
Is there a particular site you like to use to get YouTube videos that doesn't show you 800 ads?
I do. It's called Y2Mate, and here's the problem: the content on there that pops up is not ideal for your children to be standing around you. But
where
it's
I
really
found
quick
my
and easy.
Russian wife.
Yeah, those illegal things, they get you.
Yeah. But that's Anthony Taylor. That's not DYM, just to be super clear.
Let's see. How do you use Sidekick for songs? Like ProPresenter, it works with Song Select, imports the lyrics. Do you guys have an easy way to import the lyrics? Steve?
I don't. There's
I'm
not
giving Steve the
necessarily.
answer, the ones that he has to say no to, so that he'll build these things in the future, just so you guys know.
Sidekick doesn't have an easy way to do lyrics yet. We are thinking about how we could do this in the future, but the best way would be to export these somehow using ProPresenter or something as slides and then dropping them into Presenter. But again, Sidekick was originally created to do things that we couldn't do in ProPresenter. So ProPresenter can't do a wheel, and we really wanted a wheel. But ProPresenter is really good at doing lyrics, so we just wanted to kind of balance some things there. So
If you
I don't know.
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know what you all feel about copyright stuff, but if you do download a YouTube of a lyric video in these times when you're wanting visual words on the screen on a Zoom meeting and the music, it's up to you and your conscience on if you want to download a YouTube lyric video, but that is kind of the same concept.
yeah, and there are some people that are releasing the rights of those, especially during COVID. So definitely check out the rights of those videos that you're doing.
Another idea is to take kind of like what Matthew was saying earlier. Instead of using PowerPoint, you can actually build your lyrics in ProPresenter and then export them as JPEGs and bring them in that way. So that way you wouldn't have to keep switching back and forth between apps. You could just use Presenter, but you get to use the power of ProPresenter to handle all your lyrics. Let's see, you guys can see these questions too, right? So feel free to hop in there. When you import files into Sidekick, does it create a copy? Can I delete source files and still have it operate smoothly?
Yeah, I can answer that. Super technical. Yes, it does create a copy. When you are importing a file, it actually does copy that file, say from your desktop to your documents folder in a special place. And so I like to keep the original file somewhere like on a Dropbox or something, just so I have it. But it does create a copy, and it is editing that copy. So you're safe to delete it or move it to a jump drive or something later. And then also to note, that file is local to that computer. So if you are using Sidekick on two different computers and you edit a PickMe file or a presenter file on one computer, it's only on that computer. So that way it's fast and easy to use and saving all the time live. There is no cloud feature. So if you wanted to share, you would export from one computer, jump drive it to your other computer, and then import it onto that computer. But it does create a copy.
And Steve, can you put a video behind a slide in Presenter?
You can in Presenter. So Presenter has layers now. So you can't put a background because that is only an image, but you can have a layer that is a full screen video as the background in a slide in Presenter. And you could even put text or images on top of that video as well.
Matt Wizardkis asks, how do I let other advisors download Sidekick app without giving them access to my account because they might spend on my credit card? And I was just thinking about this right now. They have DYM has a 60-day free trial. You can download the videos on your gold member and or the Sidekick files, give them to them, but let them sign in with their free gold membership for the next 60 days. Is there a different hack around making sure college kids don't go ham with your credit card?
You can have a free account. So what we do for our students, we'll have some of our students make games. And so we'll let them download or create a free account on DYM. They can make games all day long, but it's going to have the watermark on their machine. if they give you one of those files and you log into your account, that watermark goes away. So anybody can create games. You don't have to be a member to actually create games and stuff. But if you want to play it, it'll have the watermark if you're not a gold member. So yeah, displaying, other than giving them your account information, which I wouldn't recommend. That seems to be it. Yeah.
Danny says, is there a way to have a color picker for the box or the wheel? I know in a couple other builders there are that, but with those two, there's like a palette to choose from. You want to explain that one?
Yeah, so for those builders, you have themes that we've created for you, and for boxes and wheel, I believe there's only some themes that we've picked out. We have talked about in the future the possibility of opening up that idea or adding more themes, but currently there's not a way to add your own colors. You can choose from colors within that theme, though.
Are there plans in the future to create an app or something for the person on stage to be able to control Sidekick from the stage? Keep giving you all these questions.
Oh my gosh. There are plans. It is a very big, expensive problem, and we're not at that point yet to where we can do it, because it requires lots of servers. And what we don't want to do is release the ability to do it, and then you click spin, and it takes 2 seconds to hit a server and come back to you before the wheel spins. We want it to be instantaneous, and in all of our research, that looks like it's an expensive server problem, and we're not ready for that yet. So we want it to be the best. One day it is in our future roadmap, but not soon.
I see Alan Johnson said, is there a possibility to get some type of preview in the DYM store for the Sidekick games, like there are other games? The complaint is that you can't really see what you're buying. And I know Michelle, who is running the kind of the pipeline for that, has been starting to move towards videos where you'll see a little video of it toggling through. And so so as people put new games in, if they can get a video shot of it, I think that would continue to be more helpful. And I think we're moving that way. Does that seem true?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I don't know how much I can say, so I'm not gonna say. But yes, yeah, that's definitely on the table. Things to think about in the future.
My bad. I didn't mean to tee you up to a weird thing.
I will. No, just know exciting things are coming. That's all you need to know. So.
But Michelle did just chime in the chat. She said that videos are great, but also that the previews would give away the game, so we have to be a little sneaky on the DYM store because of that.
Yeah, we don't want to give you all the answers and questions, even though that would be awesome to have. But then you could just go into Sidekick and just type them in. So we're trying to give you just enough.
Yeah, Todd.
Well, and I know a lot of the newer stuff that's come in the last year or so, like Michelle's definitely an advocate for all of you guys and trying to figure out the best way you can learn about the resource and be able to use it in the most effective way possible. Her heart is huge, and she wants that for you as youth pastors. So just know that somebody's on your side for sure. Let's see. Is there a library feature in the works, a place to store regular slides, intro videos, etc.? From Rob. There's kind of a library. I mean, there's a library that's in Sidekick. As far as like using them on a regular basis, you could either make one presenter file with stuff in it or add it to your playlist as far as, finding it easier. But I think the playlist would definitely be something you want to check out. Oh, let's see. The green screen stuff, did we talk about it? You talked about that. Where did Anthony go? Is he gone? Yeah, basically you just put a green screen behind your background as your background, but you'd have to use an external device to key
Or
things.
video editing
Or
software.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Is there an overall church price for entire youth ministry to be able to use Sidekick? Though the way that our membership currently works is that you pay for a gold membership, and that's kind of for your ministry. A good idea is if you have a student ministry at mychurch.com, use that one for your gold membership, so that way it stays with your church, and maybe you guys can share the account. But it's one gold membership for that, and you can run Sidekick on as many computers on that account as you want. There's no ProPresenter will shut down one ProPresenter if you open up another ProPresenter. We don't do that, and that's because we've been at camp sometimes, and we may want one screen that's run by one computer having a countdown, and then another screen with another computer that's running leaderboard, and it doesn't make sense for you to have two gold memberships just to run two screens. So we allow you to have as many computers logged into that same account as you want. Just
for example, at my church, we have it on about half a dozen different computers between myself, a couple youth leaders, and even our children's ministry is starting to think about playing around with it.
So you're saying between you and Todd, you guys are just stealing everything, right?
Hey, he just said.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. On all those PC you got. Yep. Anyway, I'm just teasing. So all that to say, we appreciate you guys joining us today, and especially appreciate all of our panelists and the creative ideas you guys have brought to the table. And feel free to reach out to us at support@downloadyouthministry.com. We can help with any issues you might be having with the app, or connect you with other people, connect you with these guys for ideas. But make sure you reach out and let us know. Also, check out sidekick.tv and click on the Learn button at the top. That'll give you lots of tutorial videos you can go through and learn on your own how to just get the basic feel of how Sidekick works. And I think that's about it. There's going to be some more cool and amazing things coming out later in the year that we can talk about later. So there you go.
Hey, Lucy just asked how to upgrade to gold. And so I feel like I can show her real quick on this screen share.
Oh, yeah, sure. Do it.
So in my account, I'm showing everyone my account and that I have $4.07 left.
Nice.
And yeah, right here in my account in membership, you can select, because I have a gold member, I'm assuming that you can just select these right here. So just go up to your account, and it's even in the overview, I believe, as well. So
yeah, and if you're halfway through your membership as well, you can email support, and Chip can refund the difference of the two memberships. Hopefully those things get resolved with what's coming in the future. But anyway, I think that pretty much does it. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and good luck on Sidekick. And more importantly, just thanks for everything that you guys are doing for your churches, for your communities, for your ministries. You guys out there are the heartbeat of the church, the Big C church in the country. And we get to hear, DYM gets to hear all the amazing stories that you guys are doing during this kind of crazy time. So keep up the good work, and we'll keep doing everything we can to help you out with resources, and definitely keep praying for you guys as well. So that's it. See you next time.
Thanks, everybody.